everyone for your committee.
Thank you, Amanda. We'll call Public Safety Committee to order here, 9:27 a.m. Quorum is present. First order of business is to approve minutes from a prior committee meeting. Who would like to bring that to the floor? Supervisor Simpson, and is there a second for the minutes? Okay, Supervisor Driscoll, thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes accepted. First order of business here is resolution to amend existing contract. The floor is yours, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. We have a contract that was just created with Seawert, and it's for the muffin muncher, the grinder and lift station for the county septic. When I submitted that request, it was for preventative maintenance and inspections. We had a repair that was done in January, so the contract does not allow us to pay for that repair. So we're requesting an amendment to the contract that would outline specifically the amount for the preventative maintenance annually, as well as an amount not to exceed $5,000 annually for repairs.
For repairs.
So the contract as it exists currently is $15,000, $5,000 per year, but that just didn't cover the repairs. It was only inspections and maintenance.
Okay.
Bring it to the floor.
Thank you. Supervisor Simpson brought it to the floor. Is there a second to that motion?
Supervisor Shepler is in the room and she said that she will second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Shepler. Any further discussion on these? You know, it just makes me think, Sheriff, in your line of work here, you get into all kinds of things with muffin munchers and
Yeah,
yeah, takes a
never
lot.
know what each day is going to bring, and that's okay.
Good. Any discussion on this contract? And it was all included in your packet?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'll call the question. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Second order of business, provide reimbursement. Sheriff?
Yes, when we started the school year with Hadley Luzerne, we had committed to provide them with 2 school resource officers. There was a period of approximately 83 days where we were unable to provide those services. They are simply seeking reimbursement for the payments that they made to the county. I have listed on the resolution request $23,301.37. There have been some emails going back and forth. I've been working with Monica in our office and Rob Lynch in the treasurer's office. The amount's going to land somewhere between $19,000 and $23,000. We're just trying to get the exact figure hammered out, working with Hadley Luzerne School, but essentially it's roughly that amount that we're returning for services we could not provide.
Okay. Bring it to the floor. Who'd like to do that?
Motion. Ms. Shepler has made the motion.
Okay, and a second by Supervisor Simpson. Thank you. Discussion on this? And Sheriff, your office is not out any money for this, are they?
No, we are not.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Your third item, Sheriff?
It's a request to amend resolution number 58 of 2018. Starting back in 2017, there were plans that were made to erect a tower site in Stony Creek. The plans have been working all along. Mark Neal in our office has worked with contractors to come together with a proposal, and we were expecting that the county would receive funds from the Dormitory Authority of New York State. Those funds have not yet been awarded. We realize that this tower site is a matter of public safety, and it's not just for law enforcement, but fire and EMS personnel and the public in Stony Creek and surrounding areas. So the amendment would allow us to revise that resolution and grant that the funds be awarded not from DASNY, but rather from the fund balance unappropriated funds.
Okay. Brought to the floor by Supervisor Simpson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Looking,
Supervisor
Supervisor.
Shepler will second.
Thank you, Supervisor Shepler. And will this stay at the $250,000?
The original estimate was around $250,000. Last week, Mark Neal put together another proposal, and if the prices still stay around the same, his estimate came in around $261,000. We realize that this site is quite remote, so there could be, some unanticipated costs. DPW did a tremendous amount of work in assisting us last time, but we hope to keep it $260,000 or below.
Okay, should that be in this resolution at all? Should there be a monetary amount in this resolution?
I only requested that the change of the funding because I don't believe there was an actual dollar amount. Yes, it is not to exceed 250. Yeah, that would probably be appropriate because we would, tie our hands if we were limiting ourselves to that amount. I don't know if you would want to say 261 or if you'd want to come up with a higher figure.
Okay. I'd like to call in the budget officer here, Supervisor Garrity.
Yes.
On this one, 250, maybe 261,000 coming out of fund balance is.
I've been assured that we will get the dormitory authority funding. So, I'm comfortable. I just know that it's public safety. We need to get it done. So whatever the committee decides, is Ryan on?
Yes.
Ryan Moore?
I'm
What do
on.
you feel? I feel 250 should handle it.
My thought is we could keep it at 250, and if we need to go higher, if we have no other choice, we could do that because it'll be a case of the project, basically being complete, and we just have to make a change to the resolution. But I would defer to the supervisors who are going to be served by it, whether they want to have that assurance right now.
The feeling of the committee? Any comments? I would say on the 250, this project has been going on for a long time. It's time we get a radio antenna up and going there. Sheriff, how long will it take to complete this project? When would it be done and operable?
I don't have a timeline. I hope to pick Mark Neal's brain this morning. Unfortunately, he has contracted shingles, and he's going to be out of our office for a week or so. So I don't have that information today.
Okay, thank you. But we could look for it this year?
I would hope so. If we get approval, we'd like to start as soon as possible. Obviously, this is a project you'd want to do during good weather.
Okay. Chairman Thomas?
Mark Neal and Capital Digitronics were here, I believe, last Thursday. And I kind of think in the next 2 or 3 months, this will probably get completed.
Good.
And can I just chime in a little bit, Craig?
Please,
Craig,
Supervisor.
I have talked to DPW and they're prepared to do a lot of the site work, whatever needs to be done. I talked to Superintendent Hajo. So it is imperative we get going on this project.
I think we're all agreed on that.
Okay.
Good. Well, then I'll call the question. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, call the question carried. Fill a vacancy, Sheriff?
Yes. We have a vacancy in communications due to a resignation of an employee. She was a full-time communications officer with our agency and worked part-time in Washington County. Had an opportunity when an opening came up in Washington County to transfer and work over there. She elected to do so. We're submitting the notice of intent to fill this vacancy, and cautiously right now we've been watching this position. Our employees are using a little bit less leave right now with the pandemic. They're just not wanting to take time off with all of the limitations. So even if we get this approved today, we're going to watch it and try to hold off on filling it for some time. I don't know exactly how long. When it becomes cost prohibitive due to overtime and the employee's inability to take leave, we'll fill it, but we're just submitting the form to get the approval at this time.
And will there be a lag time between hiring and having somebody trained and fully
We have a
operational?
list. There is a short training period for communications, but, you know, once we have the approval, we make the decision that we would like to hire someone, we'll do interviews, and it should be a rather short time period.
Excellent. Motion to bring it to the floor? To fill a vacancy, Supervisor Garrity, was that,
Well, I'm not on your committee, but I have discussion.
well, let's
Well,
bring it to the floor here. Who'd like to, Supervisor Simpson, will you bring this, Phil, to the floor? It's second by Supervisor Driscoll. Discussion, Supervisor Garrity.
Yeah, just for the sheriff and everybody, just remember that staffing levels in communication, we're guided by not just what we feel is correct, but ISO has a say in how many dispatchers we have on duty. And ISO is the insurance rating organization that affects all your fire insurance rates. So Jim, I would just keep that in mind when I'm looking at my staffing provisions to make sure that we have enough people, and you don't want to cut yourself short that if somebody is taken ill, you can't have that unit staff. So I just ask that you're looking at, maybe I already have, but I do know that ISO does when they're in checking us out for insurance service rates, they will check on the dispatch center.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. And that's it for requests. Any topics for discussions, Sheriff?
Just a couple things. Over the last month, we continue to, you know, work diligently to keep an eye on the county through this pandemic, and it seems to be going well. I know that, you know, as things open up, it's twofold. Some people are very excited and some people are extremely anxious. We are keeping a close eye on areas, specifically certain hotspots around the county, and I think we still continue to do a great job. We've not had a single case in the sheriff's office involving an employee or an inmate, and I think that's a huge success, especially with our exposure to the public. We also had a very, very peaceful and wonderful march that took place in the city of Glens Falls that we were invited to participate and assist with. And for those supervisors that attended, it was really a beautiful day. And we were happy to be a part of it. We were very fortunate that it, you know, was such a nice day. I know other municipalities had some issues, but not so much in Warren County. It just goes to show, you know, how we do things here in Warren County in our community. And on a final note, our correctional facility, our population has seemed to level off. Our inmate count for today is 56. Through this pandemic, we have had requests from state parole, from the U.S. Marshal Service, from other outside entities to house inmates. And our protocols were such that it allowed us to do it. And we did it very cautiously, very purposefully. But because we were willing to take in some of these federal inmates, we are now have opened a door and, you know, started relationships with the marshals again. And as it stands today, we had one at the start of the year, and this morning we have 6 federal inmates, which brings in revenue, and I anticipate we will be getting more.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see. There was also a parade in the town of Chester the other day that was organized by our fire company, the Chestertown Volunteer Fire Department, and the Horkin, started in Horkin there. And it was a show of support. It was Back the Blue. It was very well attended, and Sheriff, your men looked good out there in the lineup with the state troopers. I saw the
Thank you.
Sheriff there, and Lieutenant Smith and Sergeant Geisler and others. And it went very well. And I think they were very appreciative of that show of support. And yeah, it's well deserved. You guys did a great job in the march in Glens Falls as well. And we're in a good spot. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any comments from the public?
No, sir, no comments on YouTube right now.
Oh, okay. Supervisor Garrity?
Yeah, just just, I want to offer my support to all the men and women of the Sheriff's Department and all the divisions. It hasn't been easy for them even up here to perform, and they do perform admirably. And I just want them to know that I fully, and I believe most of us fully support what they do every day out there. It's not even easy up here. So I appreciate everything they do.
Thank you, Supervisor Garrity.
Supervisor Driscoll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to echo Kevin's comments, but also relationship that the Sheriff's Department and Health Services has fostered over the last 3 months has really gone a long way to make the process seamlessly safe for everyone, but also well managed. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Hearing no other comments, we'll adjourn the meeting of Public Safety at 7:43. Thank you very much.
Thank you.